Dear Sagittarius, have you ever woken up on a quiet Sunday morning with a strange feeling that something is about to change? There's no clear reason, just a vibration, like the universe is whispering something only your soul can hear. A message you haven't read yet, a dream you can't quite shake, a subtle unease, as if someone, somewhere, is watching you from afar. And then, right on that peaceful morning, a hidden truth will come to light, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I'm here to show you what's really unfolding behind the veil of energy on this coming Sunday, the 7th. If you're a Sagittarius, this is your moment, not to doubt, but to prepare. Prepare for truth. Prepare for a message from the universe, delivered at the exact sacred moment meant only for you. And maybe all it takes is one honest sentence to open a door that can never be closed again. So now, come with me, deeper into the fire of Sagittarius, where the chosen souls are beginning to rise again. Not everyone understands a Sagittarius. Some say you're impulsive, others call you a dreamer, unrealistic. But I know, beneath your free-spirited surface, lives a soul that has weathered many storms and still, somehow, keeps its inner flame alive. You're a fire sign, but yours is not the fire that destroys. It's the fire that knows, the fire that loves, the fire that forgives, and knows when to rise for something greater than yourself. I've seen Sagittarius souls fall to their knees after losses that would have broken anyone else, left with nothing, no one, no direction, and still, you rose, quietly, without needing applause, because something deep inside you whispered, there's still a journey left to finish. As an astrologer, I've never met another sign that seeks truth like Sagittarius. You can endure betrayal, you can forgive pain, but you simply cannot live a lie. That is what sets you apart. You live by intuition, but never blindly. You act from the heart, but with reason in every step. And above all, you never lose faith in the light, even when you're the one standing in the dark. One of the greatest lessons I've learned from Sagittarius is this: when the world chooses silence out of fear, you still choose truth. When someone walks away in fear of being hurt, you still choose to love. When everyone else clings to comfort, you still choose the road, even when you don't know where it leads, because you understand. The real fear is not in failing, it's in living a life that isn't true to who you are. Maybe you once loved someone so deeply, you lost yourself. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you drifted so far, you didn't recognize the reflection in the mirror anymore. And then, in one quiet moment, you heard it. That soft call from your own soul. Come home. But not as you were. Come back as the fire that's been forged. To forgive, for a Sagittarius, is never weakness. It's a sacred decision, a kind of inner freedom, a quiet way of saying to the universe, I've learned the lesson, and now I'm ready to move on. If you're reading these words, and you feel something stir inside you, then maybe you are the Sagittarius the universe is calling right now. A soul that has fallen many times, but never let its flame go out. A silent warrior, carrying a light this world so desperately needs. Think back. How many times have you chosen faith over revenge? How many times have you forgiven instead of holding on to bitterness? How many times have you kept walking even when no one cheered, no one followed, no one even noticed? Those moments weren't weakness, they were growth. They were transformation. You are the kind of soul that gives the universe hope for humanity. I remember one Sagittarius once told me, "I don't need people to believe me right away, as long as I don't betray myself." And I carry that truth with me still. Don't let the world make you smaller. Don't let those who misunderstand you define you. And don't let fear keep you quiet. Because you were born to keep going, even when the road ahead is covered in fog. Maybe you're the first in your family to break a pattern. Maybe you're the only one in your community who dares to live out loud. Maybe you're carrying a sacred mission, one you still don't have words for. But you can feel it. You know you're not like the rest. And no matter how hard you try to normalize yourself, you've always been different. But that difference isn't a burden. It's a message from the spirit world. You were chosen to do things differently. And when you choose to keep going on, not because you need to win, but because your soul cannot go against its own truth, you become a living beacon for those who haven't yet dared to begin. If any of this is touching your heart, leave a comment. I have walked through the dark, but I kept my light alive. That affirmation isn't just for you. It's a spark you're passing on to someone else. I've seen many Sagittarians carry light they didn't even know they had. One simple word from you, one quiet decision you made, could be the last thread of hope for a soul that's about to fall. You don't have to do something grand. Just keep living true. And whatever you do, don't dim your flame just because the world says you're burning too bright. I know. There were moments when you were tired of being strong, tired of being the one who understands, tired of always being the one who forgives. But I also know beneath that exhaustion is a strength no one can take from you. The kind of strength that only belongs to those who have cracked, but never broken. And if you're standing at a crossroads right now, if you're unsure whether to keep going or turn back, pause for a moment, breathe, and listen to yourself, because maybe the next part of your journey doesn't begin in a new place, but in the moment you decide you will never betray yourself again. It's time to remember, you don't need to be rescued. You are the one you've been waiting for. And no, you don't need another sign from the universe, because your existence alone is already a powerful sign. Before we step into the next part, where all the astrological lights point toward that fated Sunday, I want to leave you with a question. When you were most deeply wounded, what did you do to keep your light alive? Write it down, share it in the comments, because maybe your story is the key for someone else who's lost their way. And just maybe, as you write it, you'll remember how strong you've truly been. In the next section, I'll walk you deeper into the astrological chart and the unique energetic signs influencing Sagittarius right now. Because the 7th is not just another Sunday. It's a sacred invitation from the universe, reserved only for those who are truly ready to wake up. Some days pass by like a soft breeze, and some days, like an underground wave, quietly change the entire direction of a life. December 7th, for Sagittarius, isn't just a Sunday, it's a gateway, a message, a cosmic mirror, reflecting back the truth you've been trying not to see. When I look at the stars for that day, I know this is no coincidence. The moon, ruler of emotions, memory, and inner connection, will pass through your third house. And if you're a Sagittarius searching for answers, this could explain why you've recently felt something pressing in your heart, a feeling that something needs to be said, or heard, or finally understood. The third house is the house of news, messages, and communication. When the moon moves through it, your emotions will find their voice, not loudly, not forcefully, but certainly. You might find yourself pulled toward an old message, an unsent letter, a conversation that never finished. Or maybe you'll hear a song you haven't played in years. At the exact moment you're wondering, should I go back? Did I miss something? These questions don't come to make you anxious. They come as soft knocks on the door of your heart, a whisper. You've grown now. Look again, but this time with light. At the same time, Mercury, the planet of thought, memory, and logic, is now entering the shadow phase after retrograde. This is a sensitive time of transition, a space where what was once misunderstood begins to clarify, where tangled conversations begin to reveal truth. You might receive a message from someone you thought had forgotten you. You might suddenly find the words you never could speak. Or maybe your mind will simply quiet down, as if the final curtain has been lifted. But deeper still, another rare alignment is unfolding. Mars, planet of action, drive, and instinct, will form a tense square with Neptune, planet of dreams, illusion, and spiritual sensitivity. This won't feel easy. It won't hand you a clear answer. It might leave you second-guessing, feeling that something's off, without knowing exactly what. You may feel the urge to act, to respond, to chase clarity. But is that response coming from love or from fear? In that moment, I'm not asking you to react. I'm asking you to pause, to step back, and listen to the voice that lives in the quietest part of you. Because in this cosmic storm, stillness might be your greatest power. Because in the spiritual world, action doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes, deep awareness is the most powerful action of all. The 7th is a day when the veil between logic and intuition becomes thinner than ever. You'll start to see what you once overlooked. You'll begin to feel the spaces in your relationships, the ones you thought were whole. And maybe you'll find yourself standing at a choice, one that only your heart truly knows the answer to. If you've been waiting for a sign from the universe, a sacred invitation to begin again, as a higher version of yourself, this might be it. Some Sagittarians will receive an unexpected call. Others may stumble upon an old memory, one they weren't ready to face until now. Some will feel a gentle confusion, like their mind and heart are suddenly out of sync. But remember, confusion is often the first crack in the old structure, and every truth, before it sets you free, usually hurts first. I want you to look back, not to blame, but to understand, not to cling, but to release. The moon in your 3rd house will teach you how to listen inward again. Mercury, now in post-retrograde shadow, will help you say the things you never could before. And the Mars-Neptune square will offer you the chance to act again. This time, from a higher level of awareness. You don't need to rush into a decision. You just need to be honest with yourself, with the emotions rising to the surface, with what you know is true, but have never dared to fully admit. Because truth, even when it hurts, brings liberation. And Sagittarius, you were born to walk alongside truth, all the way to the end. So if what you hear on the 7th shocks you, don't be afraid. It's not a disaster. It's a sacred part of the awakening you've been waiting for. All along, let yourself feel deeper. Write down what your intuition is telling you. Say the thing you've never said. And if you can, forgive someone or yourself for not being able to live honestly in the past. Comment below. If you feel like something sacred is approaching, you can keep it simple. I'm ready to face the truth. That sentence is a key, not for anyone else, but for you. In the next part, we'll walk into something strange. When the truth is finally released, what replaces the fear? When you're no longer haunted by what you don't know, what new thing might come in? There is a gift waiting, but it's only for those brave enough to walk through the 7th. With an undefended heart, we'll step into that next chapter together. There's a kind of truth that doesn't need to shout. It just arrives in the moment you least expect it, and quietly changes how you see someone, a memory, or even an entire chapter of your life. And that might be exactly what happens to you on the 7th. Not loud, not announced, but sharp and impossible to ignore. As the Moon, Mercury, and Mars move like cosmic clockwork, you'll find yourself standing before a door. And behind it is a missing piece of your life you thought was already closed. A person who once left. A conversation long buried. A choice you once thought was certain, now trembling. Then, a message, a confession, a strange action, a post you weren't expecting, and 1 second after hearing or reading it, you'll know you're no longer the same, because it's not the truth that hurts us most. It's how long we believed in what wasn't real. I know you might feel disappointed, maybe angry, maybe so disoriented you don't even know what to believe anymore. But breathe. Don't react just yet, because in that moment, when the news arrives, the universe is quietly asking you one question. Will you react the same way you always have? Or have you become someone new? If you find out someone's been hiding the truth from you all this time, what will you do? Forgive? Confront? Walk away? There's no right answer for everyone. There's only the answer that's true, from the deepest part of who you really are. Because truth doesn't come to break you. It comes to free you from illusion. And only when you have the courage to look it in the eye can you begin again, without carrying the cracks of the past. Do you remember the last time you were truly shaken? The last time you thought you understood someone, and then the truth told a completely different story. Maybe it was someone you trusted, a relationship you thought was safe, a plan you believed was solid, until it all fell apart. In just a few words, those memories might be surfacing again now, not to hurt you, but to remind you. This time, you can choose differently. This time, you don't have to react from old instincts. You can pause, observe, listen to the voice inside you before you respond, because the real purpose of a shock isn't to make you lose control. It's to show you what no longer fits who you are becoming. I believe this. Sometimes, what exhausts us the most isn't what people do to us. It's the energy we spend trying to hold on to an image, a belief, a hope that's no longer real, just because we've invested too much in it. That's when truth arrives, like a cold rain, not gentle, but necessary. You may shiver, you may resist, but after the rain, the ground is clearer, the illusions are gone, and what's left is your raw, honest self, ready to be seen, healed, and lifted. So if you find yourself in a moment where everything you believed is being turned upside down, place your hand on your heart and ask, what is the truth trying to teach me here? Don't rush to label who's right or wrong. Don't slam the door on your heart. Let the information arrive as it is and allow your soul to decide how to digest it. You don't need to have the answer right away. You just need to be present and awake enough not to get swept up in old reactions. I know this isn't easy, especially for those who love with their whole hearts, who believe others will be just as honest as they are. But now, this is your moment to reclaim your energy. Maybe you've lived too long in emotional fog. Maybe you stayed silent because you feared losing someone. Maybe you dimmed your intuition to keep the peace, but not anymore. Now, no one defines you but you, and that is the gift truth brings, even when it shakes you. If this resonates, comment below. I once received news that changed my life when I least expected it. You might think your story is just your own, but sometimes what you've survived becomes someone else's light. And maybe, as you write it, you'll feel a healing begin. Once again, the 7th might arrive like a flash, but for those ready to receive it, it could also be a door, a quiet invitation from the universe. It's time to live your truth, and if you've made it this far, I believe you're one of the few who are truly ready to say yes. In the next part, I'll show you what waits on the other side of truth, when you're no longer guarded, when you stop pretending to be strong. What is it that begins to enter your life? A gift will arrive, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you stayed. You chose to face it. Every soul has a moment on its journey when truth is no longer a choice. It becomes destiny. For Sagittarius, that moment is now. In your birth chart, your 9th house is being powerfully activated. The house of faith, of truth, of the questions that reach far beyond your personal life. This is more than a house in astrology. It's a symbol of the journey you must take, not just in the world, but within yourself. The 9th house doesn't knock gently. It echoes with something you've known all along, but haven't had the courage to face. It comes to ask, are you still living in alignment with what you once swore you'd never forget? I've seen this happen again and again with Sagittarians entering spiritual maturity. They stop searching for easy answers. They stop being comforted by empty words. They're not here to be reassured. They're here to remember who they are. They begin searching for the light. And that light, it's never gentle. It cuts through the darkness you once avoided. It strips away the layers you built just to survive. And sometimes it makes you cry, not because you're hurt, but because for the first time, you finally see yourself. How long have you been living in things you knew weren't real? How many times have you smiled at someone when you knew their heart was no longer with you? How many times have you said, "I'm fine," while your insides were silently screaming for help? Where have you hidden those truths? The 9th house won't let you keep fogging up your intuition. It's here to remove the mask, not to shame you, but to set you free. I once asked a Sagittarius, "How did you forgive someone who betrayed you so deeply?" She looked down and answered softly, "Because I couldn't live one more day in a lie." That answer left me silent, because I understood. That's the growth of a soul, no longer defined by pain. Are you living in truth? Not society's truth, not your family's truth, not the truth that was passed down to you, but your truth. Your soul knows, your intuition knows. But are you listening? The 9th house is where your soul finds its way back home. And sometimes, that road isn't paved in love, it's paved in shards. Truth is rarely easy, but it's the sound of awakening. It whispers to you, you've gone far enough in illusion, it's time to come home. But not to go back to who you were. To begin as the person you've become. So, if on the 7th, you receive news that leaves you stunned, a confession from someone you sensed but never dared to believe, a door you thought was stable, suddenly slams shut, remember this, don't be afraid. That's the sign. You're ready for the truth now, and once your soul is ready, the universe won't delay. You may feel betrayed, but look again. You're being set free. There are things you can never truly receive until you are no longer bound by a false belief. And the 7th is the key to help you look back, not with resentment, but with gratitude and the words, "Now I see clearly, and now I can begin again." Sagittarius is not just the seeker of truth. You are the light bearer. You illuminate others simply by living your truth. And that light, it doesn't come from words. It comes from the choices you make. When no one's watching, when no one applauds, when no one agrees. Still, you choose to live honestly. You keep walking, even if you don't know where the road leads, because deep down, you believe that at the end of that path, truth is waiting, arms open. I've seen Sagittarius walk away from someone they still loved, not because they wanted to, but because it was no longer real. I've seen Sagittarius turn down tempting offers because something about it didn't align with their values. And then, a different door opened, one that was brighter, clearer, and meant for them. Truth will never take away what's truly yours. It only removes what never was, what you held onto out of habit or fear of starting over. But starting over isn't weakness, it's courage. And Sagittarius, you were born with that courage in your blood. If these words are stirring something in you, know this: you are not alone. Write it down. I'm ready to live in truth, even if it means letting something go. That sentence is a vow. It's your signal to the universe that you're ready to rise into a higher level of awareness. Now, imagine yourself again, no longer guarded, no longer pretending, no longer shrinking your dreams, just because others might not understand. Just you, with your raw, honest light, unpolished, but deep and steady. And you know what? That is your most powerful form. In the next part, I'll guide you to a turning point, when the truth has been faced and the darkness begins to fade. What will the universe send you next? A gift? A person? Or an entirely new door? We'll explore that right after you dare to say one final goodbye to everything that once held you back. There are moments in life when we stand before two clear paths, not between right and wrong, but between light and silence. Silence, because we're too tired to fight anymore. Silence, because we're too scared to lose what we've tried so hard to hold on to. Silence, because we don't want to hurt anyone, not even ourselves. I understand. I've seen Sagittarians choose silence, not out of weakness, but because their hearts had grown weary, waiting for someone else to be just as honest. But now, as Jupiter, your ruling planet, enters its gifting phase after a season of trials, the universe is no longer quiet. It's asking you, how much longer do you want to live in this silence? How much longer will you smile, nod, stay quiet, and shrink, just to hold on to something that's no longer true? Jupiter doesn't reward obedience. It rewards authenticity. It blesses the souls brave enough to live in the light, even if it means giving up the comfort of illusion. Those who speak their truth, even if it costs them someone's approval. Those who choose to stand alone, rather than pretend in a space that no longer fits. So ask yourself, how long have you been silent? How many times have you swallowed your feelings? How many times have you pretended to be okay, just to avoid making things worse? How many times have you said, "It's fine," just to avoid a conversation that might break you? That silence may have protected you for a while, but now it might be the very cage holding your soul back from flying. Any astrologer knows when Jupiter finishes its test cycle, the gifts it brings are immense, but they are selective. They don't come to those still clinging to the mask. They don't reach those still pretending not to see. They come to those who've looked truth in the eye, who've spoken it, lived it. And Sagittarius, if anyone can do that, it's you. I've seen Sagittarians walk away from relationships full of promise because they couldn't stay where trust had faded. I've seen you leave behind environments that stifled your spirit, even if they offered money, status, or security. And I've seen the light return to your eyes after those choices, because that's who you really are, a soul that cannot be faked. We live in a world that praises silence and rewards performance. We're taught how to blend in, how to please, how to smile, even when we're falling apart inside. But if no one dares to speak truth anymore, what will we have left to believe in? That's when Sagittarius rises, not like a warrior shouting into battle, but like a quiet torch, guiding the lost. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove. You only need to live so honestly that no one can deny your presence anymore. That is how you flip the script. Not by revenge, not by proving others wrong, but by being, undeniably, yourself. Because true light doesn't need validation. It only needs not to be dimmed. Yes, you could stay quiet. Keep pretending nothing's happening. Keep saying, "I'm fine." But deep inside, you know a part of you is begging to speak. A part of you is screaming, "I'm tired. I want to live truthfully. I need to breathe." And the universe is listening. So why not start today? Just one sentence, one small act, one honest choice is enough to shift your entire path. You don't have to do something grand. You only have to choose not to stay silent anymore. Choose the light, even if that light causes someone to walk away. Because if someone leaves you just because you finally lived your truth, they never truly chose you in the first place. If this speaks to you, share this message, because somewhere out there, someone is still in the dark, waiting for a sign, to know they're not alone. And you might be the one carrying that light. Leave a comment. I choose the light. I won't stay silent anymore. This isn't just a statement, it's a commitment, a signal to the universe that you're ready, that you've cleared space within yourself to receive something better. And you know what? That something better is closer than you think. In the next part, I'll share with you a powerful gift the universe has prepared for you. It won't come in the way you expected. It won't show up how you're used to. But when it arrives, you'll know instantly, this is the reward for not giving up. And you might be the one it's meant for. Have you ever paused in the middle of an ordinary day and felt that nothing is really random anymore? A song plays at just the right moment. A number repeats on your screen. A familiar face appears in your dream. A feeling you can't quite name stops you in your tracks. Maybe you've brushed it off as coincidence, but the universe never speaks directly. It sends signals. It arranges slices of your reality. It weaves together coincidences, light enough to dismiss, but powerful enough to stir your soul. If you're ready to listen, December 7th won't come like a storm. It will arrive like a soft reminder, a bell ringing in the silence, a faint shimmer on a wall you thought you already knew. And if you felt like something is shifting lately, if your life has seemed more tangled than usual, please believe. You're not lost. You're being guided. Every event that happens is not random. Every person who enters or exits your life carries a code. Every heartbreak, every shock, every moment that doesn't make sense is part of a greater script being written behind the scenes. Maybe you couldn't see it because you were standing too close, like trying to make sense of a painting when your eyes are just inches from the canvas. But when you take a step back, this December 7th may show you the whole picture. Every broken piece you thought was meaningless, every decision you once doubted, every time you trusted your intuition, even when no one else did. It's all aligning now. Right time, right place, right version of you. You don't need to redraw the map. You just need to trust the flow. There is a wisdom far greater than yours working quietly on your behalf, even when you don't feel it, even when you felt left out, misunderstood, or completely alone. But you've never truly been alone. If you're reading these words, you've been chosen not to panic, but to awaken, not to armor up, but to soften, not to follow someone else's path, but to remember that your own sacred script was written long ago. Look back for a moment. What has startled you lately? A strange dream? A decision you made that even you don't fully understand? Someone returning that you never expected to see again? Even the small things. They're all part of the chain. And on the 7th, those links may finally reconnect. No more gaps, no more confusion, just clarity. The universe won't hand you a step-by-step plan. It placed a compass in your heart. That compass is your intuition. And now, after everything you've learned through the breaking, the falling, the rebuilding, that compass is beginning to work again. You won't need someone else to tell you where to go. You won't ask, am I doing the right thing? You'll just know, not with your mind, but with a quiet peace deep in your soul. Trust that. If your heart is stirring as you hear these words, if someone's name comes to mind for no clear reason, it's not a mistake. It's not your imagination. It's not wishful thinking. It's a signal. And the path is opening. If you've been seeing someone's eyes in your dreams, If you feel like you're about to do something that no longer matches who you used to be, pause just for a moment and whisper to yourself, "I'm ready." Then, when you've quietly made that vow to the universe, write this down. "I trust in my own light, not for others to see, not to be acknowledged, but to send out a powerful signal that you are awakening, that you no longer need to hide, that you've seen yourself, Nawesh, and you choose not to look away anymore." December 7th doesn't promise fireworks. It promises clarity. And from that clarity, you'll walk forward, no longer carrying old weight. You won't be the victim of what happened to you. You won't be the one searching for truth in others. You'll be the keeper of light, because you finally understand. It's all been written. You no longer need to become anything. Just return to who you truly are. And that is where all miracles begin. You've made it this far with me, to the very end of today's story. And if you're still here, reading these final lines, I know you're not ordinary. You're one of the rare few who dare to face truth, who dare to walk through the storm, who dare to call yourself by the name your soul has always known. I don't know where you are right now, maybe in a quiet room, maybe on your way home, maybe curled up after a long day when no one really saw you. But I do know this. A part of you is waking up. A part of you knows you can't keep living the way you used to. It's time to return to what's real. If you can, write down how you feel after hearing this. Write with your hands or with eyes still wet from tears. No need to edit. Just be honest. Let your heart land somewhere safe. Don't carry it all alone anymore. And this Sunday morning, give yourself a little space. No big moves needed. Just be present with yourself. Take a deep breath. Light a candle. Place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I'm ready." Let whatever comes, come not through fear, but through a heart that knows silence, that trusts, and that forgives. It may not arrive the way you expected, but please remember, the universe never delivers the wrong gift. And if you feel this journey has touched you, share this message with someone who might be in the dark. Be a broadcast tower. Let your light travel farther than you think. Because maybe your words could save someone who's standing at the edge. And finally, if you feel cold, leave a comment. I'm ready to receive the universe's gift. No need for anyone to see it. Just the universe. Just you. Confirming to yourself that you've come far enough to never return to the fog again. And if you're still here, I invite you to stay, because in the next video, I'll share the gift the universe is bringing after this emotional quake. It's not for the many, it's for the ones who dared to go all the way, to fall, to rise, to keep their light burning when everything else had walked away. Stay, because light always walks with those who choose to go all the way.